Welcome back to Chicago Sports Update here on IAP Podcasts. This is Matt. Brandon is a little under the weather right now, so he will not be on to this week's show. So he did authorize me to release the results for this year's Sports Movie Madness tournament, and we would like to congratulate Jimmy Dugan from A League of Their Own as the Sports Movie Madness winner for 2014, I guess as it was. So, congrats to him. Vote. I thought Shooter had it locked up. I thought he was strong enough to take it down, but came up short and drastically short, just like Duke did. Ooh, except I'm not going to throw my best player under the bus, unlike Coach K. So, certainly hope Jabari Parker leaves Duke for the NBA because he's not getting the basketball education, as it were, from Duke, especially with attitude like that from Coach K. So, just overall, charlatan. College basketball sucks. I'm so happy it's over. Right? I can just, all the upsets that happen have happened. I don't really care. I haven't watched a single second of it. And, I'm pretty confident in my manliness over not doing so. I have been watching a lot of hockey. The Blackhawks certainly have made it interesting over the past week or so. Really kind of getting back in the hunt for the top of the Central Western Conference. They're only, I think now 6 points behind St. Louis for the top spot, and they picked up, I think they picked up 4 or 6 points last week because the Blues were stumbling, and I'm very happy about that. It's certainly a good race now, hockey being on all the time seemingly. I just don't care about the East, and with the NHL Network and NBC Sports Network playing a lot of Eastern games on non-Blackhawk days, gosh, it's really tough because the competition right now is so much better, I think, in the West. The race is certainly more interesting, and, of course, I have a lot more riding on it emotionally than any of the races out in the East. So, I really wish they would take a little bit more of a Western Central focus, but it is what it is, and that is quite all right. So, aside from that, don't really care much about the Bulls and what they're doing. I know they're kind of hovering around the third or fourth spot, 3 through 5 of the NBA Eastern Conference. It just doesn't matter. It really just doesn't matter. So it's just sad and pathetic that they're just stuck in basketball hell, and there's no sign of relief or redemption anytime soon because Derrick Rose just isn't going to come back as the same player. If he does, it'll take a long time for that to happen. And with the NBA season being as long as it is, it just drags on so much. If there's a league that could benefit from a shorter season, it would be the NBA. But we talked about that during the NBA strike a few years ago, so you can dig into our archives for that. Let's see. Aside from that, I think we may end up start talking about a little bit more wrestling. I know that wrestling is not really considered a sport, but that's okay. It's just fun entertainment. It is tremendous entertainment, and while there may not be traditional athletes, they are athletic, and they certainly are tremendous showmen. And some of the storylines that are going on right now, it's really, really fun. The return of Batista, and kind of just trying to claw at, I guess is the best way to put it, Randy Orton, and his desire to get at the World Heavyweight title. It's interesting. It's been fun the past couple of weeks. He certainly swayed me because I just don't like Randy Orton, and especially getting back into it recently. I'd say watching it now over the past, I'd say maybe 3 or 4 months or so. It's certainly been, there have been some good storylines coming in and out. Daniel Bryan certainly being one, especially with the seemingly rivalry right now with Triple H, and boy, they're hyping up WrestleMania so much. It's incredible. It's hard to believe that the event is only 30 years old. That's the case. Being turning 29, I'm only a year younger than WrestleMania, so that's kind of crazy to think. I feel so old with that, but it's good entertainment. It's a pretty mindless entertainment. There's some stupid characters out there, but overall, it's a really fun time, I think, to kind of get back into WWE, as it were. I'm not a John Cena fan. You can probably tell that by some of my tweets when I'm tweeting about Raw or SmackDown or any of those sorts of things, so I can really care less about him. Yeah, I know kids like him, and heck, half the time it is for kids, so that's all right. At times, good kid-friendly entertainment, so that is exactly what it is. Let's see, I guess that really does wrap up this week of the show. Spring training is still underway, only 6 more days as of recording this right now, to opening day, so looking forward to that getting underway next week, next Monday even. Oh gosh, yes, I'm very happy about that. And then finally, maybe spring will happen here in Chicago. Maybe, not counting on it, not holding my breath, but I think it is now 6 weeks, well, longer than 6 weeks since the groundhog lied, bastard. So that's about that. Otherwise, not a whole lot going on here. I guess in network news, I would like to take the opportunity to announce that Lag-Free is going on an indefinite hiatus, and that shows will be recorded on an as-needed basis. What does that mean? Well, that doesn't mean that the show's going completely away. But what it does mean is that, unfortunately, I don't have the time to do so. Fortunately, I don't have the time to really put in the source material, to get the source material as far as playing games, watching a lot of modern television or current television that people want to talk about, seeing a lot of movies. Just not really getting that opportunity right now with my firstborn really gladly occupying my time when I get home and those sorts of things. It does change your life, and, until I guess he kind of gets into I shouldn't say high school, but middle school, when you can be a little bit more self-sufficient in time, it becomes a little bit more. I get a little bit more of that on my hands. Of course, I'm sure extracurriculars will take into effect there, but it's just not there, and that's okay. Frankly, the video game industry doesn't have a whole lot of news circulating on a weekly basis, heck, even on a bi-weekly basis. I know there's some news right now that Facebook ended up buying Oculus Rift. I don't really care about that because I think virtual reality is just another, just another gimmick, just like movement technology, just like 3D. It's just a gimmick, and I really don't need to be... I'm not really interested in paying additional gobs of money to experience it until we're experiencing holograms, I don't really have any sort of interest in such. And we're not at that point yet, technologically. So if Facebook wants to spend $2 billion to do so, okay, fine. That's on them. I wouldn't do so because I'm certainly glad not every company has devoted product lines to 3D because it just isn't there. It's just not there. They don't have the market penetration. Too expensive, and the software support just isn't there. Movies really aren't coming out in 3D anymore, and I don't believe the 3D experience is all that worthwhile. So, little bit stuff there. I do have fun. I do try to play games whenever I can, be it at night, baby sleeping and all those sorts of things. But overall, it's just not there. It's just a different time. The industry has certainly turned and changed and becoming a much more, I don't even know if we're better for it. It's seemingly becoming, big release only. They can only apply on an annual basis. So Madden, Call of Duty, Battlefield, those sorts of things. They're certainly taking their time to do it. You can go back to our previous shows where seemingly there were times where seemingly something was coming out week after week after week, and we had the time and the money to do so. Not the case anymore. So things change, life changed. Lag-Free is certainly very close to my heart, and I'm very happy on how it has grown. I'd like to again thank Bob for his initial support as a co-host, and then transitioning into Matt, and then Will. Finally, and certainly like to hear from them in the future, and in case of future shows, of course they will return, and we'll be happy to have them back on whenever we need to do a show or that itch is there. So, indefinite hiatus, indefinite leave of absence, I guess is the best way to consider it. Spontaneous as it will be, of course it will still be featured on the feed whenever available. This is still where you can find it, but Chicago Sports Update isn't going anywhere simply because the time investment is that much less. you're just consuming sports, you're watching TV, you're listening to the radio, those sorts of things. Brandon and I have a great time doing it, and we're very happy with what we're doing here with Chicago Sports Update. We enjoy the features that we do and the segments that we do. Of course, we always encourage your support and feedback. You can always email us at IAP Podcasts, all one word, at gmail.com. And you can also interact with us on Twitter at IAP Podcasts, as well as on Facebook, facebook.com/IAP Podcasts. So there you go. There's a full explanation if you did not read the Facebook post or Twitter post regarding the lag-free announcement. But thank you very much, everybody, for listening, and we will talk to you next week. Brandon, feel better.
Thanks for listening to Chicago Sports Update here on Intrepid Audio Productions. You can find us on Facebook and Twitter by searching IAP Podcasts, all one word. We make it easy to listen to us at home or on the go because you can subscribe to us via iTunes or on your browser at Spreaker.com. Listen to us on the go with the Stitcher Radio app, available for all smartphones. Want to interact with the team directly? Leave any questions, comments, or feedback you may have at our Facebook page. You can also like our page to know about special events, shows topics, and listen directly on our page to new and past episodes. Feel free to email us anytime at iappodcasts@gmail.com. IAP Podcasts, pioneering the best in independent podcasting.
The best. Or worst food. What I ate. Check it out at the best or worst food, what I ate.blogspot.com.
Hello, listeners. Once you're done catching up with everything Intrepid Audio Productions has to offer, check out some other great independent podcast shows like the Knights of the Video Game Table podcast. Jeremy, Patrick, and Frank do great work, and it's worth your time to check them out. They're part of the Nerdgasm Network, where you can find other cool shows, including the Super Budget Brothers, the Nerdgasm Network video game podcast, and all other shows, which can be found at extraplay.info. Give them a listen, because good, honest work can be hard to find.